Are critics blasting off with Space Force, or just plain blasting it? It was a sad day for TV after Steve Carell left The Office during its 7th season. Now, despite an appearance on SNL here and there, Carell has largely done away with comedies in pursuit of dramatic film roles, which left fans desperately begging the Academy Awards to just give the man an Oscar already so he can finally come back to his bread and butter, the sitcom. So you can imagine their joy when it was announced that he was coming back to television comedy in a big, big way. Thanks to the folks at Netflix, Carell reunited with the American Office co-creator Greg Daniels for Space Force, a workplace comedy that takes place within a fictionalized version of the newest branch of the US military, the Space Force. The series follows Carell as General Mark Naird, the newly appointed head of the Space Force who has been tasked with bringing American boots back to the moon. Of course, the workplace comedy aspect of the show involves Naird trying to work with the scientists and politicians who all have their own agendas and are trying to get things done their way. However, after some star-studded trailers left some fans wanting more, many were left wondering if this new show could capture some of the magic that Daniels and Carell brought to The Office. Well, with the show hitting Netflix on Friday, May 29th, the reviews are now in orbit, so they might finally have an answer to their question. And Houston, they have a problem. It seems the show didn't blast off for critics, rather it fizzled on the proverbial launch pad. Folks, I know, they're going to keep making me do space puns the entire episode unless you like, subscribe, and hit that little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. I hate my producers. No one can hear me scream. Haha. Anyway, here's what the reviews had to say. Between its cosmic set pieces, stacked cast, and talent behind the camera, it's clear the budget for this comedy is out of this world, especially compared to a show like The Office. But as Variety's review points out, for all the heft behind it, Space Force should be an easy win. 10 episodes later, however, it's safer to say that Space Force is really just okay. One of the most common themes in reviews so far is that the show is tonally inconsistent. Space Force is trying to satirize things that feel ripped out of the headlines without being too tawdry or hard-hitting. This tightrope act, coupled with the general weirdness of life in 2020, makes the show less effective than it might have been. Nerdist's own Michael Walsh had this to say in our review. At certain points, it feels like biting satire, others complete farce. Sometimes the show is super silly and surreal, and other times it feels like a straight comedy. That inconsistent tone makes it so you never know what you're watching or what you'll get from scene to scene, episode to episode. Comic Book Resources review brought up a similar point. Carell and his The Office collaborator Greg Daniels have drawn on their Office background to create a workplace comedy with a surprising amount of earnest emotion, and the show's mockery of the Space Force is disappointingly tame. The creators hired scientific and military consultants, and the show too often seems afraid to go too far with anything resembling satire or social commentary. CNET went so far as to compare the series to Daniels' other new sci-fi show, Upload, on Amazon Prime. Space Force is definitely funnier than Upload, but still feels like the comedy isn't funny enough, the drama isn't dramatic enough, and the satire isn't sharply satirical enough. However, most critics agreed that the series' brightest point is its supporting cast, specifically the frenemy relationship between Carell's General Naird and John Malkovich's scientist character, Dr. Adrian Mallory. IndieWire put it like this: together, Carell and Malkovich forge a charismatic pair that could carry even more episodes than they already do, while Malkovich's Dr. Mallory could certainly stand for more development on his own. Comicbook.com wrote, as one might anticipate, Malkovich steals the spotlight of every scene he's in, serving as the foundation and reason for a Space Force that looks to train soldiers in case an intergalactic war comes along. But there is hope out there, of course. Many reviews see Space Force's diamond in the rough potential and expressed hopes the comedy will find its footing as the series goes on. On Twitter, The Atlantic's David Sims pointed to precedent to remind us not to be discouraged. All Greg Daniels shows are bad in Season 1. We all know this, and arguably, Greg Daniels shows like The Office or Parks and Rec didn't find their footing until Season 2. Or, as The Hollywood Reporter warns us, don't go into this first set of Space Force episodes without expecting the rough patches. Considering that Space Force premieres on Friday, May 29th, we'll know soon enough if these reviews were on target or if they missed their launch window. But in the meantime, tell me, what do you folks think? Are you excited for Space Force? Is it an absolute crime that Steve Carell never got an Emmy for The Office? And what space pun should I have said instead of the ones that I actually did? Let's discuss. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe? And if you want to get notified every time we go live with a new show or drop a new video, feel free to mash that little bell down below. That way you're going to be up to date on the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world. In the meantime, stay safe, be healthy, and have a great day. Bye-bye.